Sometimes we give words and old expressions and colloquialisms too much power in our life. You may have heard someone say before, you maybe even said yourself, oh, the devil that I know is better than the devil that I don't know. And we use that as an excuse not to move forward, really. Like, well, at least there's this. Yeah, it's miserable, but it could be worse. Yeah, it could be. Could be a hell of a lot better, too. We always think things are going to get worse. I remember growing up, my mom used to tell me that, actually. It only gets worse. It gets more difficult, maybe. Maybe for most of us, that's a definite. But it can get better. But we don't know unless we at least try, at least put ourselves out there and not just roll over and show our belly to the leader of the pack and say, fine, do what you will, I give up. It's important that we challenge ourselves to grow. That we don't just acquiesce to misery, that we don't just give up and say, yeah, screw it. I guess this is what we got. I think a lot of times I talk about what we do for a living, what we do for our jobs. Don't confuse what you do to make money, to keep the lights on, to keep a roof over your head, and to pay the bills. Don't confuse that with who you are. You're lucky if you do have a job that makes you feel proud of who you are and what you do. But no job is indicative of exactly who you are as a person. A lot of times if you're at a party scenario or you meet somebody for the first time, you ask somebody, so tell me about yourself. Well, the first things they'll do is tell you what they do for a job. Like I said, I feel very few jobs actually relate to the things we stand for, the things that we care about, the things that we hold dear, the things that we truly find are important. But I think it's important that we do find something as we go through this life. You do find something that you do that doesn't make you feel bad about yourself. It doesn't suck your soul out of your body. That doesn't make you miserable. If your job makes you feel miserable now, staying there for another 5, 10, 15 years, I dare say my mom's right. It's not going to get better. It's probably just going to get worse. And the worst part of it all is you've wasted all your time. No matter how much money they pay you for doing that job, that money will never buy that time back. So it's important that we find what we are passionate about, pursue that passion, pursue that joy, that happiness. And yeah, maybe we can't do that for a career. Maybe you can. I saw a video today of a woman who was working in a zoo or aquarium and was weighing penguins. That looked like a hell of a good time. And I'm sure that's not the only part of her job, but it seemed like a nice little thing to do. I didn't realize how much joy it would bring me watching it. But maybe we find, at least while we're trying to pursue those dreams, we find a job that makes us feel good about who we are, that's actually in line with what we care about. It may not be the dream, may not be your absolute goal, may not be the thing that brings you the utmost joy, may not fulfill that creative outlet, but something that's at least in line with who you are as a person. So that if someone does ask you to tell them about yourself and you mention your job, it at least relates to who you are. We spend most of our time, unfortunately, in our society at work. We spend more time at work than we do with our friends, with our family. More time at work than we do even taking care of ourselves. It's supposed to be an 8-hour workday, but for many of us, if you factor in travel and everything else, it's like 10 hours. You're supposed to sleep 8 hours. Well, we're already up to 18 hours. That leaves us 6 hours on the day. There's hygiene and stuff, is eating. Maybe you try to get some exercise in. The rest of that time goes pretty quick. So make sure that you're doing something that you're passionate about. Make sure that you're aligning your values, your morals, in all the things that you do. Make sure that if you're not happy where you are in life, with your job, in your relationships, come together with some type of strategic plan to get out of there, to change it. It'd be nice if we could just say, oh, just quit tomorrow and all your dreams will come true. Doesn't quite work that way, right? That's okay. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be a bit of a challenge. We are adaptive little creatures. As we are spirits going through this human experience, part of us needs to grow. That's part of the journey. And that growth comes through the struggle. So if you're not happy in any aspect of your life, work on formulating a plan to change it for the better. If that means more education, that means brushing up the resume, working on your social skills, maybe even moving. Maybe something as big as that. Maybe everything is just not good where you are. Save up your money. Come up with a plan. Find a place that's better suited for you. Maybe in a relationship that's just been draining you for years. Address the situation. Try to salvage it. If it can't be salvaged, you got to move on. Figure out whatever that is. We talk a lot about time in these videos. Life is short. Life is long. Depending on how I feel that day when I make the video. I feel like if you make the wrong decisions, life may feel very long. If you had an hour to spend doing something that you recognize as fun. For me, how about eating Mickey pretzels at Disney World and going on the Haunted Mansion ride? If I only had an hour and I get to go to the theme park and, let's be honest, I'd probably be in line for an hour. But in a perfect world, in a perfect day, I have a Mickey pretzel in each hand, a smile on my face, and I go on the Haunted Mansion ride. Then I run over and I go on Space Mountain, and I go on Splash Mountain, and I'm doing all the things I want. That hour goes fast. That hour goes very fast. If I'm sitting at work and someone's yelling at me and I'm doing some arduous task that just feels like pure hell, that hour seems long. It's the same 60 minutes. For time is relative. So time is both long and short depending on our experience, on our perception. Maybe we don't get enough time to do all the things that we want to do. I think that's why I try to squeeze in all these things all the time. I don't think that. I'm sure that's why. But use your time wisely. Find what brings you joy. Pursue it. If you're not happy, spend some time changing it so that you don't waste the rest of your time.